Hello, I'm Benny Shilo, and what I'd like to do today is to introduce you to a new photography book that I recently published displaying photographs of India. And just to get you into the right atmosphere, I'm showing a picture that was taken, a movie that was taken in Kerala before sunrise, where the reflection of a palm leaf on the water generates mesmerizing shapes. So I'm bedridden, and after completing several successful projects, remained without a project and was looking for something new to do. And my good friend Benny Geiger came by and sparked the idea of generating an album of black and white photos that will be generated from my color photographs. So this is the idea to show a photography book of India and in black and white, and I'll explain why in a minute. So Benny came with a very heavy catalog of a photographer, Brazilian photographer, named Sebastian Salgado, who was for most of his life a war correspondent, taking photos in black and white. And in the last 10 or 15 years, in order to heal himself, embarked on a project of taking pictures from the 5 continents, which will display nature's beauty, again in black and white. So the power of black and white is immediately evident from looking at his photographs. And the idea was to see whether I can find within my images such images that would fit to the black and white conversion. And in order to focus on the topic, we decided to go for India. Over the past 20 years, my wife and I have been going on an almost annual basis to India. We are based in Bangalore, but each time we combine it with a trip to another part of the country. So focusing on India and looking and generating black and white images immediately reminded me of the timeless album of Henri Cartier-Bresson. And in 1948, he was based in India and took a series of very impressive photographs. This one is shown in Srinagar. I've collected images from 6 different regions in India. I'll just show 5 of them today. We'll start with Karnataka, where Bangalore is located. We'll move to Kerala, which is over here on the banks of the Arabian Sea. Then to the holy city of Varanasi over here, Rajasthan, and conclude with a few pictures from Odisha. So you really get a broad scope of the diversity of India within different geographical regions. The layout for the book was very elegantly done by my son Avner, and he came out with the idea of calling it Behind the Colors of India. And this is essentially what the book is, trying to strip away the layer of color, which may sometimes be distracting, and remain with a focus on texture, expressions, and different shades of light and shade. And so this is the book, and we'll begin. The book has a text. I try to write the text in a very personal way, so I'll also read a few parts from the text so you'll get a sense of the style and the narrative. So as I said, we are based in Bangalore in a scientific institute, a very advanced one called NCBS, and it's located within a lush green park. Every morning, I take my time and watch the cleaning ladies as they gracefully pick fallen leaves from the grass, one hand placed elegantly behind their backs, while the other holds the straw broom. Their movements, fluid and precise, transform a simple task into a choreographed dance. This effortless grace is not unique to them. It is seen in countless other jobs carried out by women across India, whether balancing heavy bricks on their heads or carrying jugs of water across great distances. Their colorful saris flowing with each step, and their upright posture turn even the hardest labor into something that appears almost poetic. One striking feature of this campus is the expansive banyan tree, its branches extending downward to form roots that cover the entire area. To me, there is something magical about this place. The enormous trunk at its base, the vast canopy it now spreads, and the intricate web of roots that have given rise to new interconnected trees. In a single glance, one can sense the slow yet unstoppable process that has unfolded over years. Branches reaching, roots descending, life continuously renewing itself. There is a quiet, timeless rhythm to it, an uninterrupted evolution that fills me with a deep sense of peace and reassurance. To me, the most exciting place in Bangalore is the flower market. In the early morning, trucks bring loads of flowers, and women sit and weave the flowers into these long necklaces. They put them on these necklaces all day long, and then they're loaded onto these baskets to generate an amazingly colorful display of the flowers. When the flowers are sold, they are measured by the arm length of the person who sells the flowers. In addition to flowers, of course, the market has fruits and vegetables. For example, this person very elegantly carrying the bananas on his head, coconuts, spices that are arranged in cones. And after taking the image, I noticed that the sari that the woman is wearing is actually citing the cones that are displayed on the market. The market also sells these green mangoes, which are cut into a comb-like structure and sprayed with red chili powder and sold to eat on the spot. One final slide from Karnataka. The schools in Karnataka are often decorated with large drawings of various teaching materials. In one such illustration, Mahatma Gandhi is depicted whispering a secret to an attentive student. I can't help but wonder what he might have said. Wandering outside Bangalore, there are fields of rice, and during the harvest season, these are turned into bright green and yellow, and the rice is picked and then loaded, or I should say overloaded, on the ox-drawn carts and displayed or spread over the roads. When the cars pass by over the grains, they separate the grain from the shaft, and then, by the use of the wind, the grain falls down while the shaft is blown away. One of the most exciting monuments outside Bangalore is Hampi. It's located north of Bangalore, and it is located within an area of amazing granite boulders and has a city that was carved in the 14th century out of the rock. It existed for about 2 centuries and was then taken over by the Mughals. Moving on to Kerala, again, read another a paragraph. I rise before sunrise and walk toward the Cochin Chinese fishing nets along the quiet seashore. Everything is still and serene, the only sound being the gentle lapping of waves. As the first light begins to appear, the silence is broken by a sudden flurry of activity. Fishermen lower the massive nets, shifting the heavy wooden counterweights, and then haul them back up, often revealing a disappointingly small catch. Perched on the poles of the nets, birds sit in perfect alignment, the precise spacing between them mirroring their wingspan, a fascinating display of nature's symmetry. As more fishermen row ashore in their hand carved wooden boats, the shoreline bursts into life. Fresh fish are quickly arranged in piles, and loud animated auction begins, with buyers eagerly competing for the best catch. I felt privileged to witness this timeless ritual, a practice that has remained unchanged for centuries, as witnessed by Vasco da Gama when he first landed on these shores in 1498. So here is the amazing Chinese nets from the 14th century, and the fishermen haul the boats back to shore and sit and fix the holes in the nets. And the birds sitting in perfect alignment on the Chinese fishing nets. There are two traditional dances that are exercised in Kerala. One is Tiyam. It's a ritual that is held overnight in private residences, and during the night, players decorate themselves with different costumes and with leaves that are cut from palm trees. And by generating this enormous crown that is worn by the dancer, and also, this is another costume in red and orange with a fire. And by the end of the ceremony, towards the morning, one of the dancers actually lies on the burning amber and amazingly is left unharmed. Another traditional dance is called Kathakali. This is exercised by male dancers who practice the dance for years. Before the show, they take a long time decorating themselves with natural dyes and cutting the different costumes, the mustache, the beards from paper, and wearing all these elaborate clothes. And each evening, there's actually a different plot that is being displayed by these players. Again, this is done to the loud noise of the drum and the ability of the players to individually move each and every muscle in their face generates a very expressive display of emotions which convey the narrative of the plot. Moving on to Varanasi, which is the holiest city for the Hindus. For me, visiting Varanasi feels like witnessing a distilled, intensely concentrated essence of India. Staying by the waterfront, I allow myself to synchronize with the city's rhythm, fully immersing in its timeless energy. By the end of the stay, nothing seemed unfamiliar, not even the sight of a man patiently sculpting a mud shrine or another carefully dyeing cow dung into neat cakes. What once felt unusual became part of the intricate living tapestry of Varanasi's enduring spirit. So the river is used for washing. It can be used for washing the saris, and since they are made from very fine silk, they dry very quickly simply by lifting them against the wind, as you can see here. This is not the Indian version of a bullfight, but the drying of a sari. So the rhythm of the city is the constant hum of laundry being banged against the rock by the washers, and it lasts all day long. Um, in parallel, on the ghats on the seashore, there are numerous ceremonies that are taking place, and boats go up and down the river. Now, amazingly, even though, I mean, the boats go also to the other bank, and because the pilgrims have some food with them, the birds accompany the boat. Even though the ghats are bustling with activity, there are very private religious ceremonies that are taking place along the river. And people are immersed in their private ceremonies and completely oblivious to the noise and the commotion around them. And for example, this woman sending this candle with her best wishes over the river. And I'll read the part of that with some music in the background. Candles nestled in cups crafted from dry leaves are gently set adrift on the river, each carrying a wish or prayer upon the flowing water. The sight of countless hopes and wishes carried by a single flickering candle drifting across the sacred water left a profound impression on me. Now, there are also many Babas. Babas are people who gave up their earthly possessions. They just have their clothes on and they go around with a tin can for food where they collect food donations for their meals. Another dimension to the city is the sky. So even though it's so congested, the children create kites and fly them to the sky all day long. And this provides another layer of freedom or another dimension, another playground for the people of Varanasi. Within the streets, there's a lot of activity. There are rickshaws, there are school children going to school, and the cows sitting on the road, completely oblivious to all the traffic. I love this picture of a group of school children going to school. In general, I think that pictures taken from the back and not from the front leave so much mystery and so much to be guessed and explored when looking at them. Moving on to Rajasthan, which is up in the north. Rajasthan is sort of the old regal part of India, and it has people with the typical turbans. Each turban is about 10 meters long, and they say that it can be used to haul water down the well or to tie a camel, but mostly it's used for wearing on the head. The architecture in Rajasthan is carved in stone, and for example, in Patipur Sikri, the red stone is carved into different temples and shrines. Rajasthan is located at the edge of the desert, so water is a limiting commodity, and therefore women are all day long going to the source of water, balancing heavy jugs of water on their head and going from the well to their house back and forth. And again, I mean, they do it so elegantly and gracefully. This woman has just washed her hair and is drying it out. We were fortunate to come upon an opium party. This is a party where people gather, The opium is in solid state. It is dissolved in, by the way, you can see my shadow over here. It is dissolved in the wooden cup very carefully and then distributed between the participants of the opium party. There are lots of crafts in Rajasthan, jewelry, carving stone, and also recycled paper, which is used for fancy book covers. And here this paper is turned upside down to dry in the sun. Finally, moving on to Odisha, which is the northeast part of India. This is a less traveled part of India. It has very religious monuments, and in addition, it has tribes which are worshiping the trees and the mountains and the rocks, and everything coexists next to each other, the Hindu religion and the tribe religion. These are morning dew over a rice nursery, and every tribe has its weekly market day. Here's a shepherd in Odisha, and the tribes descend from the mountains to the market where they sell their goods and buy instead dried fish and also alcohol, which is made from fermented date juice. Each tribe has its typical costume, and this girl actually held a baby within her arms, so she's a very young mother. This is one typical tribe, which has a little sword as an earring. There's another tribe which originated from Africa, which I don't have here. When encountering diverse cultures, my initial response is fascination with the differences, the unique dress, costumes, and ways of life. But as I step closer, the similarities between people from vastly different backgrounds begin to emerge. Shared desires, fears, responsibilities, and joys. Recognizes these common threads brings a quiet realization. In another life, I could have been a shepherd in Odisha or a fisherman in Kerala rather than a professor of genetics in Israel. This thought is often followed by a deep sense of gratitude for the circumstances that shaped my own path. So I want to encourage you to go into the website of the book, and those who want to receive the book are welcome to come by our house and get it. And I'll conclude again with the image of the reflection of the palm tree in Kerala.